Hello llamas, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Gisela here. It's been a while since I've done a quick chat video with you guys, and I know a lot of us are in quarantine right now, and I really hope you guys are all safe, staying healthy, and following protocol like washing your hands and staying hygienic and all that. I made a video about what to do if you feel certain anxiety for staying at home, so please check out that video. I'll link it above. All right, so starting today's video, I want to talk about tarot cards. Now, I've talked about tarot before on my channel, but I just kind of quickly mentioned how I like to do tarot and more so what my favorite cards were. So I just wanted to get on here and talk about tarot for anybody that was interested in tarot or wanted to learn about it. One of my friends from college actually was the one that got me into tarot, because I've always been curious about them, but I've never went to buy like my own deck or anything. I just randomly saw her cards one day while I was in her house, and I told her to do a reading for me, and I was like, whoa, that was kind of accurate. Now, I just want to throw a big disclaimer out there. Tarot is very subjective. You can interpret tarot and the cards however they apply to your personal life. To me, tarot is more used as a perspective sort of thing. It's more of a guide, not necessarily foretell the future, but like kind of like a guidance in life. Just like my current energy, I believe it's all an energetic thing. If you want to look up more information on that, I suggest going to biddytarot.com and finding out more information. I also just want to quickly point out that I don't do tarot all the time. Sometimes it's just an intuitive thing, like I get that feeling like I should do a reading, and I'm very particular. Sometimes certain decks call out to me. So sometimes your cards just, you and your cards, when you vibe, you know, and they'll kind of ask to be read just so you can get an overall reading of the energy surrounding you. Tarot, at least in my personal experience of using it for a while, and I would still consider myself a beginner because I still need to read the book every time I look at the cards. I'm getting somewhat familiar with like the major and the minor arcana cards. But I do want to quickly explain the difference between a regular tarot deck and an oracle deck. So regular tarot looks something like this. Like this says the Two of Swords, and they usually have an upright and reversed meaning. Upright meanings are usually what the card is all about, the general reading of the card. The reverse side is more of what the lesson that you need to learn, or what areas you can improve in your life. That's how at least I look at it when it's in reverse for me. Some people choose not to do reverse, some people just choose to do general readings, but in my books or in my personal tarot decks, I have the reversed and the upright meaning, so I just read both. I like to do both just because I like knowing the realistic like sides of everything and what I can work with better. But yeah, so tarot cards are like the ingredients. Oracle cards are like the big meal, the underlying energy, the theme in your life, if you will, and then the tarot deck are like the minor details. Just one more thing I want to talk about, the major arcana cards and the minor arcana. So the way I like to look at the major arcanas are the overall big message that your tarot is trying to tell you, and the minor arcana is like the small details. So major, big picture, minor, small details. And if you really want to get into it, you know, you write down keywords of what the cards can mean. Like for example, the Lovers card talks about relationships, but can also talk about self-love, for singles, for passion, and it also is the major arcana for the star sign of Gemini. So you want to write these small details down, because sometimes when you're doing a reading, sometimes a particular zodiac can stand out from the rest and such. Again, you have to have an open mind. That's the first thing. I was wrong, actually. The first thing that you need to do is actually have a tarot deck. So the way I chose my decks is, you guys know that I love ancient civilizations and myths and all that jazz. So I'm very geared towards those types of like themes or symbolisms. And you want to make sure that when you're choosing your card deck, you vibe with it. So you need to have that kind of connection. Don't think about it too much. If the cards are calling you, then go for those cards. Like for example, I have an oracle deck called the Isis Oracle by Alana Fairchild. And I remember going into the crystal shop with my boyfriend, and I told him, I'm like, for some reason I feel such a strong energy coming from this tarot, but sometimes just that kind of happens. You just vibe with a certain particular deck. Now there's traditional decks, there's different types of decks that you can get. I tend to focus on ancient ones, which I think are very cool. I'm gonna show you guys some of the ones that I have. But yeah, so that's the first thing you do before you set your question, is set an intention. What question do you have for your tarot reading? And I would say that keep that question in your mind. Some people do a prayer or a reading before they continue with their spreads. I'll talk about spreads in a bit. So yeah, you want to make sure that your energy field is calm, because your cards can read your energy. So that's just something I wanted to point out. And then the next thing you would do is just simply just shuffle your deck. And if a card happens to fall out, that means that that card wants you to read its message. It has an important message for you. So whenever a card just falls out, I just quickly like look at it, try to decipher its meaning just by looking at the picture. I'll definitely look at the little book that comes with it. The next thing is you would choose a spread. Choose a spread that you want your question answered. There's many spreads. There's one spreads where you can just quickly like get a card and see what the overall card is trying to tell you. There's past, present, and future. There's so many spreads. Each tarot deck comes with its own spread. You can use that one, or you can use many of the spreads available online. And then the last thing that you would do is just get an overall reading depending on the spread that you pick. Now, I have recently started to writing down what each card means and the position of the spread it's in. Like for example, like the Isis spread here, it says the first card or the first spread that I would put is what my guides want me to know. So maybe the Two of Swords is something that spiritually Spirit is trying to communicate with me of what they want me to know, etc. So that would be the first card on top. So sometimes these simple tools are there to help guide you. Sometimes I like adding crystals onto my readings. Crystals really help calm the energies, because I remember when I was doing my Isis oracle reading, how my head felt very heavy when I was doing the readings. And then one of my friends actually suggested to me to use an amethyst crystal. And then when I used my amethyst crystal, I suddenly felt like more calm while I was doing my reading, and the heaviness that I felt just kind of like smoothed out. And another good idea is, if you're getting into tarot, is to sleep with your tarot deck, so the tarot deck can vibe with your energy. And you also want to be very careful like who surrounds your tarot, your decks, because tarot can feel bad vibes and you don't need that. I've seen people even sage their cards. I've done it before, but I don't really do it. I hope that that all makes sense. Also, another thing I just quickly want to point out is that you should have fun while you are doing your readings. Try not to think so seriously about them. Let go, be with an open mind. Have a clear mind when you're doing a reading. Don't think about it too hard. Just like go with your gut feeling, your intuition. And when you start practicing, and then when you start to do the tarot more, you'll connect with it better. And then you'll eventually start to see patterns or things that you can self-improve on. Follow the intuition. What does your heart say? So I hope you guys enjoyed this overview of how to use tarot cards. Again, I am still a beginner. I am not very experienced, but I've been doing it for a while and I feel very connected with my cards. And I think the most important thing to look at here is connection with your deck. That is important, and to have a clear and open mind so that spirit can guide you, or whatever higher power you believe in. Try to understand that it is personal to you. It is how you are feeling, unless you are doing a reading for someone else. You know, and it is okay to use your booklets to, do these readings. It's honestly all an open field of exploration. So I hope this video helped you guys. Let me know if you guys are into tarot, if you're very experienced, if you're not very experienced like me, because I'm still learning. What kind of tarot decks do you guys have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 tarot decks. 3 of those are oracle and 2 of them are just regular structured decks. I will list all of the tarot cards that I use in the description below. So let me know in the comments below, what's your favorite tarot deck? Do you have a tarot deck? Which tarot deck did you vibe with? Because I know for me that Isis Oracle was strong. I was like, whoa. It's like almost like pulled me towards that direction. I love you, llamas. I hope you guys are keeping safe, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!